couple of days ago I've seen Dr. Keller, my new primary physician, and I had put this appointment in place when I had visited him for the first time, or visited his new practice for the first time. And it was kind of interesting. After 7 hours I got to see the man, which was great, but at the same time, just in case that wasn't going to happen, I was advised to make an appointment there with him, and that happened to be on Friday, maybe, I don't know, a couple of days ago, I believe so. Yeah, I think today's Sunday. I think I'm getting my days confused here. I do apologize. So I saw him because that appointment was still in place, and I thought, yeah, why not just, why not honor it? And we did have a quick chat, gave him a copy of my book, which was great. He greatly appreciated it. It was one of those kind of throwaway comments, really. Do you know what? If you want to know more about my medical history, why don't you just read my book? It's great. Very, very cool idea. So he liked that, and he wanted me to sign it. That's very, very cool. I think it's the first time I've actually signed a copy of that, so very cool. And the main thing that I saw him about on this occasion was the fact that I did some lab work a few weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, which showed that my levothyroxine levels, or the dose of levothyroxine, the thyroid replacement hormone that I'm taking currently, because my thyroid's kind of gone, it wasn't high enough. It's one of those things where the doctors try a dose and then they see how my body reacts, and on the lowest dose possible, which is, I believe, a microgram, things were, my life has definitely improved, but it wasn't enough looking at the blood work. So my wonderful home healthcare nurse, Astrid, has increased the dose about 2 months ago, and to the next level, which is 1.1 microgram, so literally like almost nothing. And then we did more blood work so that we could see how did my body react then. And it was all fine, but it was still not quite enough. So funny enough, I only had 2 refills from Astrid's new prescription, but I had some left over from the very low dose that I had from my old PCP. It's a very convoluted story, amazingly boring too. But I thought I'll, for the sake of completion, I'm totally going to tell you everything. Oh, I've lost my wife. What a shame. I will wait for her in the park. She was behind me for most of the journey. I guess she no longer is. Oops. Anyway, so I've run out of those pills, so I went back to the lower dose and had the appointment with Dr. Keller to say, hey, look, I think I need a higher dose, and could you refill those for me, please, while I'm here? And he looked at the blood work and he said, yeah, absolutely, I think you need the next high dose, which is now 1.2 micrograms. So again, like, hardly anything. But that's basically what this video is all about. I'm now on a new dose of levothyroxine. Not only that, I'm not even on levothyroxine anymore, but I'm now on Synthroid. And the difference between those two things is that Synthroid is the actual brand product. It costs a little bit more, and levothyroxine is the generic name for more or less the same drug, at least here in the US. I believe it's the same worldwide. And my wife is still not here, so I'm going to wait for her here. There we go. And then I'm going to finish telling you that story. So yeah, so he said, well, we're going to put you on the higher dose, but I also want you to try the brand product, the Synthroid, which I don't even know which company makes it. I only know it's twice as expensive as levothyroxine, or levothyroxine, however you want to pronounce it. And I will see what it's like. I mean, these things, even though I have started taking it 2 days ago, Synthroid. I don't know why my camera stopped recording there. Maybe I have just said the magic words, kind of a voice control thing. Oh, maybe I should, not do that. I can see my wife. She is now coming to join us. That's very good. So anyway, I've been taking Synthroid for the last 2 days, and it takes a little while for these things to kick in, really. So it's not an overnight affair. But I wanted to make sure I put that somewhere and see what my well-being is like. So one thing I've noticed, and I very much doubt that this is related to that new dose already, is the fact that did you get stuck behind at the traffic lights? Oh, okay. So one thing I have noticed is the fact that I have been getting up at 5 a.m. instead of having a lie in until about 8:30, a leisurely lie in like I usually do. It just didn't happen for the last couple of days for some reason. I can't really tell you why, but that's one of those things. It may or may not be related, probably isn't, but I thought I'd mention it nonetheless. Yeah, so that's the Dr. Story thing. Speaking of levothyroxine, ever since I've taken it, I've made something like a long-term observational video. I must edit that together actually, because I've been taking levothyroxine ever since the beginning of February, I believe. And it was funny because when I started with it, I had an extremely swollen face and I had water retention literally everywhere. I was tired, and I put that all down to the fact that I was still recovering from surgery. But that wasn't actually the case. What my doctors found out through blood work was that my thyroid no longer produces these super important hormones that we all need, and they're extremely low dose, but at the same time, if you don't have them, then you just get tired. And it appears so that I believe 20 to 30% of humans on the planet have some kind of thyroid deficiency or the hormonal deficiency, and usually doctors don't really check for that, or people aren't diagnosed properly with that. So it's an interesting one. I didn't know that would have such an effect on my well-being, but it does. So I'm looking forward to what more Synthroid will do in my system. So that's one interesting story that I thought I'm going to tell you today. But there's another interesting story, and that's literally just happened over the last 2 days, kind of at the same time as this whole Dr. Synthroid thing has happened. Jesus. Crazy dogs. And that is that I've made a video on YouTube over my other channel, and it's about eye reflections in DAZ Studio, how to create eye reflections in your character. So I have received a question from a viewer on my channel, Biscuits 3D, I believe from Holland she is, and she was asking, hey, can you explain how this works? And I thought, oh yeah, I can do that. And I was very detailed about that. And one of the things that I mentioned there was that you could build a ring flash in another 3D application. So basically just like a ring, and then create an emissive surface there, and that would have an even more realistic effect. And that video was very successful, I must say, very exciting. So many people liked it. I like that a lot, and many people got involved in the comments. And one comment in particular was fantastic from somebody called Sir Munchalot, and he suggested, hey, you don't actually have to go to a modeling application, you can just go and do this inside DAZ Studio. And I thought, really, that's a great idea, the way he was describing it. Very detailed, very long comment, really appreciated that. And I thought I'll try that out right away. And it worked so well that I thought I'm going to make another video about that the next day, literally finish it at 2 a.m. in the morning. And funny enough, that video was even more successful than the first one, and it inspired me to do a bit of playing around and bring in shapes other than a ring to make that reflect in people's eyes. Loud motorbikes should be prohibited, I think. But that's just me. So this morning before I went to work, I experimented with something like a heart-shaped flashlight, a star-shaped flashlight, even a kind of a dollar sign shaped flashlight. I call that the cash flash, and it looks extremely nice in early tests. And I'm wondering if I should maybe create a 3D product for that. And it's kind of more or less ready, really. All I need to do is save some presets, and Bob's your uncle, Betty is your aunt. So tomorrow I'm off. Perhaps I will get to work on many more such things. And I believe that was it for today. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye bye.